Hello, my name is Steve, and welcome to Unboxing the Boxes, the Star Wars collection. This is episode 26, Kites and Rockets. Space, the final frontier. Oh, wait, that's a different franchise. Star Wars is full of space battles. You've got the Empire versus the Rebels, you've got droids versus the clones, you've got Jedi versus bounty hunters, just oodles of them. So many spaceships. Don't you wish you could just jump in a cockpit and blast off into space? Well, after episode 1, The Phantom Menace, arrived in theaters, in a way, you could. A company called Estes, I think that's how you say it, Estes, made a variety of flying model rockets, or flying action model rockets, that future starfighters could blast off into space. These ships and droids were based off of things we saw in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Before we find out what these ships were, let's take a look at a couple of things a little more down to earth. Kites. Now, I don't have a whole lot of kites, but every year kites do show up in the stores, especially every spring. And I only have a couple of them right now to show off. The first one, I just picked this one up. It was on a closeout at Walmart. Got it for $1. And they were normally $6.79 a piece. And this is a large 32-inch wide, I guess you'd call it a parasail kite. Got Kylo Ren on the front, and not too bad. It's kind of a neat little kite. I picked up a couple of them. It does come with some string in it and a little, if you want to say a case or a little plastic thing to put the string around. As you can see, I haven't opened it up. In fact, I almost forgot I had this thing. But anyway, there's one little kite. This one is a little bit cooler. It's I guess this is the parasail kite. As you can see, it's got Darth Vader with the parasail behind him. It's ready to go. I guess this thing is already put together. You just basically have to take it outside and catch yourself a breeze, and off you go with it. Kind of a neat little deal. The regular price was $9.99 on this. I picked it up for $4.98. So yeah, a couple of different kite versions that you could go out with. And then every year, like I said, they come out with just your basic kites in different Star Wars logos and characters and everything else. So there's something simple just to get started. But no, if you wanted to have more fun, you had to get the rockets. You know, the model rockets that you could blast off into space. Well, back in 1999, Estes came out with a series of rockets based off of the Phantom Menace. So we're going to go over those now. And in fact, I'm going to get those out of the box here first so that I'm not digging through it, wasting time here. Okay, we are ready to begin. The first one I'd like to show off is the Naboo Royal Starship. There we go. This is basically just the rocket portion. This does not come with any of the engines or the blasters, if you want to call them that. Just the ship. So you don't have to go through and buy everything all over again. You just buy the ship, you buy your little engines, and off you go. And depending on what size engine you use, this thing could go anywhere from 100 feet up to 300 feet up. Because on the back of it, it does actually show you the engines and how far they will fly. So there we have it, the Naboo Starship, just the first one. But there was a second one. Of course, we've got the good guys. We need something from the bad guys, right? Or at least people versus droids. So this time we've got the Trade Federation Droid Fighter. There again, just a ship. You'd have to get your own engines to put in it. And this one could fly up to 215 feet. So you can see, I think a lot of it has to do probably with the design. Now with this one, I think you had to put the ship onto the little bottom stage rocket, if you want to call it that, so that it could actually fly straight up for a little bit. And both of these did have a parachute that you could bring it safely back down to Earth, or Tatooine, or Naboo, or wherever it is you're flying from. So, these are the two as far as the different rockets that you could buy separately. Now, one thing I've noticed, you see the plastic here that's covering it, and oh, it's that great plastic that's a real fun to tear apart. But I noticed when I was pulling these out, no, this is not two-color ships. The plastic is starting to fade on some of these. This is getting very yellow, where this one's still fairly clear. This one's clearer yet. But yeah, I thought that was rather interesting that the plastic is starting to yellow on these. Don't see that on the action figures too much, but they obviously used a different kind of plastic too in case these wet. So moving on, we're going to go to the bigger stuff now. Here we have the Naboo fighter flying model rocket set, and this is a starter set. So not only do you get the ship, but you also get the blaster, the cable to go to the rocket so that you're safely away when this thing shoots up. This is kind of cool because you also have the launch pad come with it. So it came with the Naboo fighter and flight probe, the Star Wars mini launch pad and R2-D2 controller, a display stand, 2 Estes engines. So it did come with 2 engines already. You didn't have to buy them separate like you did for the other ones here. It has recovery wadding, instructions of course, and a full 1-year warranty. This one again, depending on what engines you actually use, could fly anywhere from 157 to 316 feet straight up into the air. Or for you outside the US, that would be 48 meters to 96 meters. So, kind of a neat little thing. I kind of like the R2-D2 controller. But yeah, just a nice little thing. I'm almost tempted to open this up and find out if this is metal or if it's plastic, because it almost looks like metal through the case here. But it could be just plastic too, because metal I think would be probably quite a bit heavier. But this is not the only one that we have in the starter kit like this. They came out with one other one that wasn't even a ship. I don't know what they were thinking with all the different ships that were in the Phantom Menace. You'd think they'd come up with another ship, right? No! We got R2-D2. You could blast R2-D2 into space. Basically the same type of thing. Came with the starter kit, so you got all the stuff in the back there, just like the other one. Only this one, of course, is not as aerodynamic, so it's not going to fly quite as far. According to the back here, if you used engine number AT3T, or A10-3T, it would only fly up about 100 feet, 30 meters, 31 meters, something like that. So it's not going to fly as far, and you can kind of see why. It's going to be a little more air friction against this one. But still, if you wanted to blast R2 off into space, you could do it with this one. So there you go. 2 of the starter kits that were available. I don't know if there were more starter kits or not. These are the only 2 that I have. But kind of a neat way to get going into this type of hobby. You could combine Star Wars and you could combine model rockets. Those are not the only ones, so now we're getting to the bigger ones. And the first one here, really, I don't see being very aerodynamic at all. We've got the Trade Federation Starship. Yeah, very interesting how this one could shoot up, but it could. And basically what they did is they would take a stick, if you want to call it that, and they'd put it into the nose of the ship here, or the module, and that would be what goes over the launcher so that you could launch it up into space. So still kind of neat, kind of different. Be interesting to try this out just to see how far it goes. It does say on the back, depending on what engine you'd use, it could go up to 200 feet high. So not bad at all. That's actually pretty decent for this type of thing. Considering that R2 only went up 100 feet, you could get twice as far with this one. like I said, depending on the engine used. So I thought this was kind of neat. A little different. Be fun to try it out and see how it works. But there's one more. This is the biggest box. Of course, we're going to start with the small stuff, go to the big one. But here we go. We got the Trade Federation Droid Fighter. Yeah, now we got the big droid fighter. Here, we got the little one. Here, we got the big one. Yeah. And this one, depending on the engine you'd use, could also fly up to about 200 feet. So, not too bad. There again, comes with a stand. This is, again, it does have the tube that fits onto the back of it to shoot it up with. That would go onto the launch pad there. So, yeah, I don't know how many of you actually are into model rockets or anything, but is this something that you would have loved to have shot off in your model rocket days, or do you fly model rockets now? These, I did not actually go out and buy. I was given these by a friend of mine. He knew of a store down in the Twin Cities that was closing out on these. It was time to move them out, bring in the new stuff, and he was able to pick these up at a very good price. In fact, I've only got one of these and one of these. Got a couple of these, and actually a bunch of these. The idea was that he and I were both into scouting, and he was thinking we could give these to the scouts and have a Saturday afternoon or something and blast rockets off. We've done this once before in the past with just regular rockets for a merit badge called Space Exploration, which also gives the guys a chance to blast rockets. And we were thinking we could do these with the scouts. Well, life kind of got in the way, program got in the way. We never got around to doing these. So I still have them all. I haven't got rid of them yet. Someday, hopefully, we're going to take these and we're going to blast them. Of course, I want to keep at least one of each for my collection. But the other ones, we can have a little fun with and blast off. So anyway, that is my collection of model rockets. What do you think of them? Leave a comment and let me know. Is this something that you or your kids would be interested in? Is it something you wish you had in your collection? Did you even know these existed? I really didn't until my friend Paul gave these to me. And I think they're kind of cool. So, once again, I would like to invite you to like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends. How many of your friends knew these things existed? It would actually be fun to go to a store now to see if there is any current model rockets out there. Might have to do that just to see. But like I said, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. I've noticed we've really gone up a bit on the subscriptions. Now granted, according to like Mr. Beast, this is just a little bit. But for me, it's a lot. Every subscriber counts. So I do appreciate it when you do that. But until next time, may the Force be with you and keep collecting!